I'm Dr. Russel Palarea. I'm an operational psychologist and president of the Association of Threat Assessment Professionals.
And I'm Mark Follman. I'm a National Affairs Editor for Mother Jones, writer and editor out of the San Francisco Bay Area.
And we were here today at CATAP presenting on a case study involving a workplace mass shooting and public shooting in the rural area of Newton and Heston, Kansas.
We worked together, Russ and I, last year to go document the story of how this small community in rural Kansas responded to and then recovered from this workplace violence mass shooting. And it was kind of a unique case because the community had gotten interested in threat assessment shortly before the attack happened. And once it did, one of the community leaders was researching further and found a story that I'd written for Mother Jones in fall of 2015, explaining what threat assessment is to the general public. And Russ was quoted in that piece, and so they reached out to him and asked him if he would come and conduct some training in the community. And Russ then let me know about it, and we thought it would be a good opportunity to document a story of a community responding, not just with recovery and active shooter response, but also with prevention, with interest in prevention, which is fairly unique thus far in my experience.
It was a compelling story and a compelling moment in the history of both threat assessment and specifically this community, that they had reached out and requested training on how to understand what happened there and prevent it from happening again. And reached out to Mark and asked him to come out on behalf of Mother Jones and provide the coverage of the day, because we wanted to watch this community come together and understand how to make sense of that tragedy and how to incorporate the threat assessment models, prevent it from happening again.
And for me as a journalist coming to this, I had spent several years studying the phenomenon of mass shootings in the United States, looking into doing data research and looking into the questions that always swirl around these cases. Foremost, the question of why, the question of motive, why do these events occur? And this story that we presented here today, this case study, was a really good kind of step forward in explaining this issue in terms of how a community goes through that process of trying to understand why a case like this occurs. And this is something we see time and time again when there's a mass shooting. The same process kind of plays out in the public debate. So for me as a journalist, it's been a really fruitful line of inquiry to try to figure out more about this problem and then help explain it to the public, where there's a lot of misconceptions about mass shootings and who does them and how and why.
We're thankful to CATAP for providing us the opportunity to present this case study and share the experience with their audience. So thank you, CATAP.
Thanks for having us.